What is up, guys? Today we're looking at a few answers to this tank meta that we're in. Tanks are really annoying to deal with, but this is not the first time they come back every season, and there are a few things we can do to actually beat them a whole ton easier. Now remember to like this video if you did, dislike it if you don't, and let me know what you guys think. Now the first thing is something we can actually do now. It's been around in the game for a while. The second thing after is something I think might be overpowered next patch. It's something new. So Blade the Ruin King is the usual answer to tanks. It's not been so much this season after the nerf in the preseason. We're seeing like Essence Reaver, crit, Rageblade, I guess. These kind of builds have dominated play, honestly, like Essence Reaver and the ability casters just rushing an Infinity Edge on normal people, and now we have the Rageblade. We haven't really seen Blade at all. Blade has a decent amount of lifesteal. It has 6% current health damage on hit, which also applies lifesteal, by the way, so that damage will heal you for even more. And then the active as well, obviously. This is one of the bigger things, 10% of the max health, plus it heals you, plus it steals 25% of their movement speed for 3 seconds, so it slows them down while speeding you up. There is this kind of common misconception that crit just equals tank killer, and that's not really that true. Late game you definitely are a tank killer with crit for sure, but early game not so much. No crit strike really, no AD, no armor pen to make those crits actually hurt. I'm guessing most of you probably feel the frustration with tanks early to mid game. They're too strong for you to deal with, but late game you can kind of beat them and rip through them, and this is why. So Blade gives you lifesteal, it gives you some kiting utility, and it gives you a lot of damage. So all three of these things are actually pretty good against tanks. We'll start with lifesteal. So lifesteal is good because tanks don't tend to do as much damage as like a normal carrier or anything, or at least it takes them a little while, which means we can get more hits off and we're going to heal for more. Kiting, obviously we take less damage, and tanks are normally quite easy to kite because they only really have like one gap closer. So after they've used that, you can get some distance with the active. The damage side of things, you're obviously hurting tanks more because of the percentage health damage. It still gives some AD and attack speed, which is good for like carry targets, and the active 10% max health is a huge thing for tanks. It doesn't work quite like this because everyone has armor and stuff, right? But a 3000 health tank would be like 300 damage just with that active, just by pressing the Borg. It's not going to be that much because of armor, but that gives you an idea. Now Blade the Ruin King also isn't as affected by armor as other things. There's no need to get a Last Whisper as early, or you don't need it to start doing damage. So the 6% is physical damage. It is reduced by armor, but the extra percentage damage plus autos is going to be more than a normal auto attack, even if it crits. The other option is just a crit build, right? Infinity Edge, attack speed, Bloodthirster, Last Whisper. That's going to be kind of what you need to actually get through a tank. It's way more expensive and it's worse mid game. Your Infinity Edge you need for the crit passive part. The attack speed item, you need attack speed to hit more, crit to crit more. That was a lot more obvious when I said that out loud. But Bloodthirster, so AD makes your crit hurt, you get the lifesteal as well. Finally Last Whisper, making those crits actually hurt against armor stacking targets. So basically we need to start building Blade of the Ruin King earlier. We've kind of all fallen into this crit trap build this season. Yes, we get more burst, but no, it's not actually always more damage. Armor is cheap and a problem. Bork doesn't really have as much of a problem with armor. So as an example, on Lucian I've been testing Essence Reaver, Shiv, Blade of the Ruin King. Passive double shots are going to apply the percentage damage on hit, and it does an enormous amount of damage to tanks. I've been trying it and it's working pretty well so far. Yes, like Bloodthirster and Infinity Edge third will be more damage to carry targets, but Blade of the Ruin King helps us get through these tanks mid game. Now you know I won't make a video just for that, so next patch I think we have something really special for tanks. I actually think it might be so special that people will stop picking tanks as much because we're shoving this blade up their bum too hard. Now Rageblade is changed in 6.9. The price is up to 3,600, so it's kind of like a proper item cost now. We get more base AD and AP, we get this new passive 15 damage on hit, which is nice, and it now stacks up to 6 times instead of 8. They have removed the old on hit thing, the AoE passive when you hit 8 stacks before, and they've given us a new passive. Every other basic attack triggers on hit effects twice. You maybe guess where this is going. I've been trying on hit builds for AD, and holy crap, it wrecks tanks so hard. Blade of the Ruin King is the obvious choice here, the obvious synergy. We get the Rageblade, it gives us a decent spike in damage, and then Bork after, or maybe like Runins into Bork. I'm not sure, I'm still testing that. We're basically going to do 6% current health damage first hit, then 12% on the second hit. It's not actually quite that, okay, because you factor in after the first 6%, so it's like 6%, then 6% of the new total, but you get the idea. Lifesteal should also apply on the extra phantom hit as well, so you're actually going to heal double the second hit. A really simple way of looking at this is we're basically doing 18% current health damage every 2 auto attacks with a bunch of attack speed already in our build. That is crazy. We're going to absolutely wreck tanks, that's for sure. We're also going to have this earlier power spike that we've been getting with Rageblade anyway. Attack speed, AD, passive damage, like all of these things are going to add up and give us a decent chunk of stats for that mid-game fight. We're also actually going to have decent damage to carry targets as well because of the Rageblade. Like that part of it is actually designed for everyone. The Blade the Rune King is a specific kind of tank killer part. With Runins, we can attack multiple targets. We have a lot of AoE damage and kind of spread over a team fight. Also, actually, the Blade passive damage plus the lifesteal is going to apply on the extra Runins bolt. So that is a bunch of synergy right there. The downsides are that it's kind of expensive now. Probably not as strong late game. Well, it's definitely not going to be as strong late game. It's going to be really good at tank killing someone like a Sion or a Maokai. They won't stand a chance, but it's not going to be as good at carry killing like the enemy mid laner or enemy AD. 1v1 in lane and stuff, you might actually be okay. Ginzu's gives you some decent stats early. You have the Blade active as well, but in a team fight, they should be able to burst you harder than you can burst them. Now, obviously, this is just testing on the PvE and stuff, but I'd say around 3 to 4 items is where the traditional build, like the crit build, becomes better. So it still gives you a big window to do things earlier into the game. Now, I have to test this whole thing out more, but I think this will be super good, especially maybe on like Kog'Maw, Tristana, Ashe, anyone who has an attack speed steroid and can attack really quickly. This also might be totally disgusting on a Vayne. I have to test this one, but imagine all of that percentage health damage flying around, and this build gives you a good amount of attack speed too, which is perfect. So that wraps up this video. This is kind of my theory crafting, research, experience all rolled into one little package. I shouldn't have said little package, but I'm going to leave that in there. So thank you very much for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment, share, but for now, let's go to the robots.